Welcome to HealthWatch, presented by Novant Health. I'm your host, June Baker. Our show features local physicians and health professionals discussing health topics of importance to local residents. Today, we will welcome Novant Health's Wendy Revis and Rhonda Lewis to talk about community resources. And then we'll meet two providers who have joined Novant Health, Barbara Palucci of Novant Health Gastroenterology and Lori Harding of Novant Health Oceanside Family Medicine in Bolivia. So stay tuned to learn about valuable health topics with HealthWatch. First, let's welcome Wendy Revis and Rhonda Lewis of Novant Health Brunswick Medical Center. Welcome to the show today, guys.
Thank you.
I guess I shouldn't say guys, that's kind of Southern. Wendy and Rhonda.
Thank you.
How are y'all today?
Doing great.
Thanks
Wonderful.
for being here. Thanks for being here. So we're here today to talk a little bit. I know you have very busy jobs, so we're here today to talk about resources. And that would be resources to connect patients to places in the community where they can find help and find the resources that they need. So how do you do that with patients at the hospital? I assume it's mostly with patients at the hospital, correct?
It is.
As they're being discharged?
It is. So what we do, we round with the physicians every day.
Okay.
We talk to the patients and find out what their needs are. If they need home health, physical therapy, nursing, if they need rehab, if they need any equipment, if they have financial issues, transportation issues, if they need food. There are lots of food banks in the area. We talk about basically everything that they would need at home once they're discharged.
Okay, well, let's break that down a little bit. I know our viewers out there are going to appreciate this information because I know they know someone who needs help.
Absolutely.
So let's start with the most important one being food.
Right.
So what resources are there available for those who might be in need?
There are lots of food banks in the area.
Okay.
I know Brunswick Family Assistance has a food bank. You can also Google food banks in Brunswick County, and it pulls up a whole list of about 15 different food banks available for people, which is a lot, I think, for this area.
It is a lot for
Yeah,
this area.
it is.
Yeah, I know there's one in Boiling Spring Lakes,
There is.
and that's
There
a great one. I've seen that one. I've been to it
Yes.
to help,
Absolutely.
and I'm always amazed at what they do provide.
Right.
And there are churches out there too.
Churches do as well.
Oh, I never thought about that. Churches too. So next, let's talk about like prescriptions and resources for in the community where they might be able to get those prescriptions. How do we find out about those?
Again, there's Brunswick Family Assistance. They provide assistance with that. The hospital, Brunswick Novant Medical Center, also has a prescription program where if you qualify, and we assess that situation, if you qualify, we can assist with some prescriptions as well.
And I believe New Hope Clinic
New Hope
also
Clinic as
has
well.
a prescription
Absolutely.
program.
That's true.
They sure do.
And with the
whereby-
veterans, I'm sorry, with the veterans, they also have a clinic in Wilmington now.
Right.
That if we, they aren't able to get their medicine on their own until they can get it through the VA, because that takes time to get it
Right,
mailed
it's
through the
mail-order.
VA. They have a clinic that we can either fax the orders up there to them,
Oh.
and they can pick it up, or
What
then we
about
use-
the clinic here in Brunswick? Do they have that same service?
They
Or-
don't.
Okay.
The pharmacy clinic is only in the Wilmington.
In Wilmington. Okay, that's good to
But
know.
if we don't, they don't have other options, then we can use the voucher program that we have
Exactly.
at Novant Health.
Right.
After that, I guess, I would think the next most needed benefit would be help with housing. Do you find that to be a problem?
There is. We have a lot of people. There's a large homeless community here in Brunswick County. There are lots of homeless coalitions that help. We have several homeless groups that we are able to call, and they do assist with housing, whether it be, you know, a voucher for a hotel stay, whether churches, some of the churches will house people for a few days and assist them in finding somewhere else that they can go, as well as shelters, which are in Wilmington.
Mm-hmm. What about somebody who just has their means to rent or buy are limited, and so is there a housing authority in Brunswick County that they can?
There's the Brunswick Housing Authority, as well as the New Hanover County Housing Authority. There's also a program out there now that is called the Transitions to Community Living, that you have to qualify for it, and you can go through DSS, and we can make referrals as well, but they help disabled adults. And we're actually seeing homes pop up. There's, what was it, Yaddies?
Yes.
Yaddies in Chaburn, and they have one home that will hold like 20 adults that are disabled, and then there's they have another one that holds like 10, and one of them's male, one's female.
So, Rhonda, you as a case manager, and Wendy, you as a social worker, would you both interact with the patients as they're being discharged and help with these types of finding these resources?
Absolutely.
We pretty much do the same jobs, except we can help the doctors with penning the orders and things like this, and you know, take the verbals. Sometimes they don't like that, but we can take verbals from the doctors. So the nursing part comes into play, and then they like their specialty, the areas. You know.
The emergency room, I like you know, going down there and assisting with equipment, home health,
more the psychosocial
issues, and
but we do that
issues.
as well. Yep.
Is there a centralized place where all these resources are listed with contact information and such? Does that exist in this county?
There is online. I'm trying to remember what you Google. The health department has a little resource packet that they've put together that has a lot of things on it.
Because it's hard to remember all these different
That's right. There's so many
things. There's
resources.
so many. So if there was a centralized,
yes,
you know.
I would Google the health department resource packet, and it's about a 30-page packet.
Wow.
As well as the Wilmington Street Sheet, which is a 2-page packet, which has lots of different resources, from food banks to homeless shelters to psych resources,
housing.
It has everything on it.
And there's also like the Brunswick Community Low Income Affordable Housing lists that are out there, and you can Google that and find that online as well. And the surrounding counties have it too.
Well, if we have viewers out there who are looking for some resources and just can't seem to find it, would it be possible for them to reach out to one of you?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
To ask those questions? And how might they do that, Wendy?
They do it all
Rhonda?
the time. They can actually just call the main number at the hospital and then ask for case management.
Ask for case management.
Ask for case management, and they would be transferred to one of us.
Case management in Brunswick County.
Okay.
Because the main number goes to Winston and is sent back.
I see. So just call the main number for Novant Health Brunswick Medical Center, and then ask for case management
in Brunswick
County.
Yes.
Exactly.
Great. Well, wonderful information, guys. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having us.
I would love to have you back, because this could go on forever, this conversation. So
absolutely.
I'd love to have you back.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thank you.
We've got a whole new way to watch TV. Introducing Merge TV from ATMC. It's your ATMC cable TV package delivered over the internet to your favorite streaming device without cable box fees. Plus, you get great features like cloud DVR storage, jump back to the beginning of a show with Start Over, and look back up to 72 hours. You can even personalize TV viewing choices for the whole family. All from the local company you know and trust, ATMC. It's the new way to watch. Merge TV from ATMC.
Getting an alert the kids made it home safely, or need to let guests in when you're not there. That's ATMC Security. And then, there's the time when having professionally monitored smart home security really matters. ATMC Security offers remote access, real-time alerts, video monitoring, and interactive security, keeping you connected to your home from wherever you are. Start with 24/7 emergency monitoring for burglary, smoke, fire, and carbon monoxide for as low as $17.95 per month. ATMC Security. Safeguard your home.
Now, let's welcome Barbara Palucci of Novant Health Gastroenterology. Welcome to the show today, Barbara. It's such a pleasure to have you.
Thank you for having me.
It's exciting. So I want to start by learning a little bit more about you. So tell me about your education and your background, because I know our viewers are interested in that.
Well, thank you so much. I grew up in upstate New York in the Albany-Saratoga area, and there's a college, a women's college in the area called Russell Sage, and that's where I ended up going for my bachelor's in nursing. And when I finished that, I knew I wanted to work at the master's level, and I was looking at education at the time, but they didn't have a nurse practitioner program at that point. So I finished my master's degree and started working, raising kids, but always wanted to become a nurse practitioner. And so ended up with a divorce, and after the divorce, I met a wonderful person, my current partner, who said to me, "You light up when you talk about becoming a nurse practitioner, so you got to go back to school." So I went back to school and got my postmaster's certificate in nurse practitioner, and my last semester, we had planned to move down here. We found a house in Varnamtown, and it's beautiful. And we never expected that we would find a home the first place we went on vacation to look, but we we loved our house, and we came down here. And so I've been here since December of 2011. And,
quite a while.
Yeah. So
that's awesome. That's a great story.
Thank you.
I think most recently you were with Dr. Rick Crane at Atlantic Internal Medicine. Is that correct?
I was, yes. I was able to be with him from 17 till last fall when he changed his practice, which was a wonderful experience for me. I had been working in pain management and orthopedics and did a lot of specialized medicine at that point in time, and decided I really wanted to get back to my roots with primary care. I'm a certified health coach, and I really love wellness. I love helping people manage their bodies and their health. So when I got back into primary care, I was really able to do that, and I found that to be a really big growth year for me.
Wow, that's awesome. You certainly have a lot of experience. And early in your career, you say there wasn't one thing that made you decide that you wanted to be a nurse practitioner. You just sort of always knew that you wanted to do that, right?
I did. I think, you know, it was a culmination of everything. I had done a lot of teaching. I had worked in all areas. When I worked in the hospital, I worked in surgical, intensive care, ER, all those kind of areas. And when I got into teaching, I ended up working in OB, which is family pediatrics, and I taught in diploma programs as well as LPN programs. I've taught in nurses' aides. And when it came around the time of my divorce, I actually took a job that was with an insurance company. And my role there was a health coach. And so I started out working in an asthma care program. And our supervisor at the time was a visionary with regards to health coaching, and she got us into a certification program. And I developed that asthma care program. I got into a low back care program, and then also a diabetes care program. So I was doing disease management for people with all of those conditions, and would talk with them and guide them, but they would always have to go back and work with their provider. And so when I was talking about it, I knew that it could be one-stop shopping if I was their provider as well. And so I decided to go back to school because I could do all of the parts of their medical care for them.
And so now you're bringing all of your experience to Novant Health Gastroenterology, correct?
I am, yes.
And so that is located right off 17, isn't it?
It is. So it's a little confusing because it's called Medical Campus Drive.
Oh, yeah.
But if you know where Galloway Sands is or Summit Dermatology,
it's right back there.
It's right behind there. And it was a building that was vacant for a very long time. And a year ago, they put in a new endoscopy center. And our office is right next door. It's really quite beautiful. It's a lovely place for healthy people to come for healthy procedures.
Everybody needs a colonoscopy in this area.
That's right.
So had you ever worked in in gastroenterology before, or is this new for you?
Well, when I worked on med-surg in the floors, everything was related to gastroenterology. If people came in with bowel
That's true.
obstructions or many different GI bleeds, I took care of people with that in intensive care. So it was all mixed throughout my experience.
And you say you're right next door to the endoscopy suite, so
Yes.
that makes it really convenient for the surgeons as well as you all.
It certainly does.
Yeah, that was really a great thing for the community to open that. What it's been a year now.
It has. I think May was when they had opened last year.
Yeah, it's been a year now. So.
And the nice thing about the endoscopy center is that it is a part of the hospital.
Right.
So it meets all the regulations that a hospital would meet,
Right.
but at a lower cost to the patient. And so
Exactly.
people get concerned about going to a standalone center for surgical
Right.
procedures.
Right.
But this is held to the
need.
highest standards. Yes, yes. We have certified nurse anesthetists that are with every procedure. Our
Right.
surgeons, not surgeons, our providers are board certified gastroenterologists. And they're wonderful. They really care about their patients. And with me, I have been with them for 6 weeks. And every teaching opportunity, somebody is there to help and say, think about this.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's wonderful, Barbara. You sound like you're very happy in your position, and we wish you the best. So, can our viewers get in touch with you at the practice?
Yes, they can. I'm on my chart, so if they
Okay.
are members of Novant Health in any place, they can get me on my chart.
Right.
But we also have a phone number at the office. It is 910-754-5988. And
And they could also go to NovantHealth.org.
that's correct. Yes.
That's great.
Lots of access.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been a pleasure. You're always so full of excitement and great news. So I look forward to having you back.
Thank you very much.
Do you have Wi-Fi dead zones in your home? If you have a fast internet package, your wireless router is most likely the bottleneck because it can't handle all the new devices in your home. We now have a solution to enhance your internet experience. ATMC Premium Wi-Fi improves performance and coverage issues in any size home. For only $7.95 a month, you'll get Wi-Fi service plus management and maintenance you can rely on. So transform your Wi-Fi dead zones into total home Wi-Fi coverage with ATMC Premium Wi-Fi.
It begins with a click. And no matter where you are, you have countless choices at your fingertips. On the road, on your break, even in your own backyard. A world of entertainment is just a click away. Simply go to atmc.com/ATMC to go to get started. Because at ATMC, it's all about you.
This is ATMC TV, your community channel.
Next, we have physician assistant Lori Harding of Novant Health Oceanside Family Medicine in Bolivia. Welcome to the show today, Lori. It's such a pleasure to meet you.
Well, thank you, June. It's a pleasure to be here.
Great. So we like to start off by learning about our new providers, and I know that you're relatively new here at Novant Health. So tell me a little bit about your background and your education. Where did you go to school?
I went to PA school at Uville College up in Buffalo, New York.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's cold, huh?
Yeah, very cold. Very cold. So I did my PA bachelor and master's degree in physician assistant, and that decision came a little bit later in life. After,
oh, really?
Yeah, after my
Were you
youngest.
a nurse before that, or were you?
No. Actually, I initially started off in finance.
Okay.
And so after a few years of finance, then I started having children and ended up just raising them. I was blessed enough to
Great.
do that for a few years.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so then you went to PA school?
Yeah, so my youngest daughter was born with some very serious medical conditions and complications, so they kind of threw me into
that?
medicine, and I realized that this is,
That was your calling?
yeah, really it was.
Yeah. Where did you work previously? Have you been, are you new out of PA school? Or?
No, I initially started off in family medicine, in private practice, and then shortly after that, I went over to a community-based center on the Tuscarora Nation Health Clinic up in Sanborn, New York. And I was there for a few years, and it was a great experience.
Great. Wow. That's quite a background. That's very interesting. Well, you kind of already told me why you became a physician assistant, I guess, but why not a nurse, or why not something else in the health field?
I've always been interested in medicine, and since I was probably 5, wanted to be a brain surgeon. And,
of course.
and so when all my kids finally went off to school full time, a friend of mine was a physician in family medicine. So we just got to talking, and I needed a career change, and physician assistant got brought up, and she made it very appealing, and did some research, did some shadowing with some, people, and I loved it. So pursued the career.
Yeah, that sounds like it was a natural for you. So what brought you to Brunswick County?
Short answer is my parents.
Oh, are they here?
They moved 4 years ago into Calabash, and so I've spent the last 4 years basically vacationing down here.
Sure.
Absolutely fell in love.
Yeah.
So when my last child graduated from high school last year, we just woke up one morning and said, we're moving to North Carolina. And very happy that we did.
Well, and we're really happy that you did too.
Well, thank you.
So I understand that you are at Novant Health Oceanside Family Medicine in Bolivia.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about your practice, your office, and your partners.
So we're family practice. I work with Dr. Hamby, who is the physician, and Jason Honecker, who is the other PA, and myself.
And we've met Jason.
Right, right,
great.
yes, both of them. And our clinical staff, nurses, medical
That's a very
assistants.
nice practice.
It's a wonderful practice.
Yeah,
it's a great team.
Yeah. So do you see patients of all ages, and how young do you start seeing patients?
So generally, we see patients 2 and up.
2 and up? So Lori, do you see patients of all ages? And at what age do you start to see patients?
Start to see patients 2 and up.
2 and up, to like grandma, right?
150.
You have patients that are 150?
No, but if there were, we would
You
see
would
them.
see them, right?
Yes.
Oh, great. Do you personally have any special medical interests? Do you like women's care, children?
I do, and especially diabetes care.
Really, that's interesting.
Yeah,
and
I
there's
have
a lot of it here.
Yes, so I have a general affinity toward diabetes education, and coming from one of my previous positions with the Indian Health Center, there was a lot of
there's a
lot of diabetes.
That's what
and
Dr. Hamby says.
Yes, yes,
when
and
I've
it
talked
is.
with him about it.
It's a very obviously a very important.
Well, as a provider, I'm sure you have a couple of tips out there for our viewers, and what might they be?
Like I tell, or I try to, most of my patients, I think the best and most general advice I could give is that, as people, we are a whole person. So not just our physical self, but emotional, spiritual for some people, social, and that we could really optimize our best self and our best health if we pay attention to all of those things. And I know sometimes in medicine we may get caught up with the physical person, but it is essential really to take care of the rest.
That's a great philosophy. I like that.
And it works.
It does.
It works, but it needs some attention.
Yeah, it does need some attention. How about hobbies? Do you have a hobby?
I actually like to collect rocks and precious stones. So,
Wow,
and
my kids do that.
I've done some mining by Asheville, and
That's where they live.
Oh, it's so exciting! It's very exciting. So I do that. I like pretty much anything outdoors: camping, fishing, hiking.
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Well, it's really been awesome to get to know you. And but before we wrap up, tell our viewers how they can make an appointment with you.
You could call our office at 910-721-4100.
Okay.
Our office is located next to the hospital at 584 Hospital Drive, Suite C in Bolivia. And also,
you can make appointments online too, can't you?
can, yes.
Oh, that'd be great.
Online
and we'll run that on the bottom of the screen,
Great.
giving those folks the email address. So
Perfect.
Thank you so much for joining us today. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. It's been my pleasure.
I look forward to seeing you real soon.
I do too. Thank you, June.
Thank you for tuning in to ATMC TV's Health Watch. I hope this information was beneficial for you and your family. If you have any questions or topics that you would like to see discussed on a future show, please email them to atmctv@atmc.com. Visit NovantHealth.org for more information on Novant Health Brunswick Medical Center, local physicians, and general health information. Thanks again for joining us today. Be sure to join us next time for Health Watch on ATMC TV.
I waited so long because sometimes we feel like we're a little indestructible. You don't have any symptoms, so you just put it off. I had a blood pressure issue that Dr. Hall worked on and got it under control, and he looked at me and he said it was time. And I said, sounds good to me. They took a foot of my colon out. They felt like if they went a foot, they gave them about 6 inches on either side of the mass to make sure everything was cleared out. The recovery was not hard. I had the surgery on Thursday, and I came home Saturday. Paddleboard surfing, or paddle surfing as we call it, it's something I enjoy to do, and I can do it for hours at a time out there, as long as the swells are good. I do have a upcoming vacation trip with a group of guys to northwest Costa Rica. We do it every mid-March. I made sure when I talked to the surgeon, we had a time and a date set to where we could do the surgery, and I had plenty of time for recovery so I could get back to the paddleboard surfing and make my trip. My advice to people who put off their colonoscopy, I suggest don't put it off. I was quite fortunate through my process with Dr. Hall, #1 person that I feel like saved my life by advising me that it's time. To Dr. Hall, I'll tell him again, thank you for saving my life. And I'll thank the same to Dr. Tillison and Dr. Rice for their work that they've done to move the surgery along.
ATMC is proud to be a recipient of the NTCA Smart Rural Community Showcase Award. This award allows us to recognize towns across Brunswick County that are able to thrive because of high-speed internet provided by ATMC. Fiber attracts new businesses to the area and supports economic development. Our network allows for advancements in technology that did not always exist in our rural community but are now possible. ATMC is proud to be your smart rural community provider.
How much bandwidth will satisfy your home's hunger? The average household now uses 7 wireless devices a day, including TVs, laptops, tablets, and smartphones. HD streaming and gaming can use large amounts of data and slow down speeds for other users. The more devices you use, the more bandwidth your home needs. So make sure you have enough bandwidth. Get speeds up to 1 gig with high-speed internet from AT&C. It's a speed you need to power all your devices. Call today